Your first day on a cruise ship decides how the rest of your trip feels, and most passengers get it wrong before they even reached the gangway. There are 30 do's and don'ts that quietly separate a smooth, relaxed embarkation from a stressful, expensive one, and almost nobody explains them clearly before you sail. Some of these mistakes cost you money, some cost you hours of standing in a line, and a few can throw off your entire week before you have even unpacked. A first-time cruiser from Ohio spent her entire first afternoon confused and rushing between decks simply because nobody told her the order these 30 things needed to happen in. She missed her dining reservation window, stood in the wrong line twice, and did not find her cabin steward until nearly dinner time, all because of small decisions that take seconds to get right once you know them. Every one of these 30 points comes from real first-day mistakes made by real passengers, and every one of them has a simple fix, something you can do in under a minute once you know it is coming. None of it requires extra money, special status, or a travel agent, only a little planning before you ever step foot on the ship. By the end of this list, you will know exactly what to do and exactly what to avoid, from the moment you leave home until the moment you fall asleep on night 1. Before we go through all 30, tap that subscribe button so you never miss a cruise tip again, because Senior Cruise Secrets posts a new insider guide every week, and today's list alone can save your entire first day on board. Stick around to the very end too, since the last few tips on this list are the ones most seasoned cruisers wish someone had told them on their very first sailing. Section 1. Before you leave for the terminal. Don't arrive at the terminal before your assigned boarding time, because early arrivals create long lines outside in the heat, and most terminals will not let you inside until your printed window opens. A 63-year-old from Cleveland arrived 2 hours early for her first cruise and spent that entire time standing outside with her luggage, when arriving on time would have taken her straight to a chair inside with air conditioning. Your boarding time exists for a reason, since the terminal staggers thousands of guests to avoid exactly the kind of crush that ruins a first afternoon, so treat that time window as a real appointment, not a suggestion. Do download the cruise line app before you leave home, since it holds your boarding pass, your muster drill assignment, and real-time updates on any delay, and trying to download it in a parking lot with weak signal only adds stress you do not need. Set up your profile and payment method inside the app while you still have strong home Wi-Fi, so all you have to do at the terminal is scan a screen and walk through. Do pack a swimsuit and your daily medications in your carry-on bag, not your checked luggage, because checked bags can take several hours to reach your cabin door, and you do not want to be searching a locked suitcase for blood pressure pills or missing the first afternoon at the pool. A retired teacher from Kansas City learned this the hard way when her checked bag did not arrive until nearly dinner time, leaving her without her evening medication for most of the day. Do attach your luggage tags securely before you leave the house, using the plastic sleeve provided or a strip of clear tape, because tags that fall off during transit mean porters have nowhere to deliver your bags, and a lost suitcase on day 1 sets a rough tone for the rest of the sailing. Write your cabin number on the tag as well, not just your name, since porters sort bags by cabin number far faster than by name alone. Keep a small photo of your finished tags on your phone too, just in case one gets damaged or smudged on the way to the ship, so you have proof of exactly what it looked like. A husband and wife from Nashville lost one tag entirely somewhere between the airport and the terminal, and having that photo on hand let the porters match the remaining bag to the correct cabin within minutes instead of leaving it sitting in a lost luggage pile for hours. Section 2. The moment you step on board. Do switch your phone to airplane mode before you board, because international roaming charges can begin the second the ship pulls away from the dock, and many seniors do not realize this until a surprise bill from their carrier arrives weeks later. A 70-year-old from Tampa forgot this step and came home to a $210 data charge for a single afternoon of normal phone use. Once in airplane mode, turn on the ship's Wi-Fi calling or the cruise line app instead, so you can still send messages without touching your regular cellular network. Do carry a reusable water bottle with you on embarkation day, since walking through a long terminal and up a steep gangway in the heat is more tiring than most people expect, and free water stations near the entrance let you refill for nothing all day long. Do skip the crowded main buffet on your first afternoon and look instead for a quieter lunch venue, because embarkation day buffets are famously packed, loud, and slow, while a smaller grill or deli station just one deck away often serves the same food with almost no line at all. A couple from Omaha discovered this on their third cruise and said skipping the buffet alone made their first afternoon feel like a different ship, calmer, quieter, and far less like fighting a crowd for a table with a tray in each hand. Ask a crew member near the pool deck where the quiet lunch spot is if you cannot find it on your own, since most of them are happy to point you toward the smaller grill or deli station. Most passengers overlook completely. Do wear comfortable walking shoes for boarding and exploring, not sandals or dress shoes, since your first day involves more walking than nearly any other day of the cruise, from the terminal, to your cabin, to the muster station, and back again. Blisters on day one have a way of following you for the rest of the week, so break your shoes in before the trip rather than on it. Do complete your muster drill as soon as it becomes available instead of waiting until the deadline, because completing it early clears you from the ship's internal tracking system and lets you relax through the rest of the afternoon without repeated reminders chasing you over the intercom. Bring your key card and a light layer of clothing to the drill, since these stations are sometimes outdoors or in a breezy area of the ship. A retired firefighter from Baton Rouge said the muster drill reminded him of a fire station roll call, and treating it that seriously, rather than as a formality, made the rest of his cruise feel noticeably calmer, since he already knew exactly where to go if anything ever happened. Section 3. Exploring before the crowds arrive. Do explore the ship while it is still quiet, usually within the first 2 or 3 hours after boarding, before thousands of passengers finish checking in and every hallway and elevator bank fills up at once. Walk the pool deck, the spa, and the main dining room during this window, since you will move through them freely instead of squeezing past a crowd. Do book your specialty dining reservations immediately once you step on board, because the best time slots at the nicer restaurants disappear within the first few hours, and waiting until dinner time on night, one often leaves you with nothing but the very last seating of the week. A couple from Richmond in their late 60s waited until after dinner to book, and every specialty restaurant on the ship was already full for the entire cruise, forcing them into the main dining room every single night. Do make your show and entertainment reservations on day one as well, since popular shows fill up fast, and many ships now require a reservation just to get through the door, even though the performance itself is completely free. Reserve your top 2 or 3 shows first, then fill in smaller events later, since the headline performances are always the first to disappear from the booking screen. A retired couple from Boise missed the main production show on their cruise entirely because they assumed a free show would never need a reservation, and by the time they checked the app on night 2, every seating for the rest of the week was already full. Do check your cabin for any problems the moment it is ready, testing the air conditioning, the toilet, the safe, and the television, because reporting an issue in the first hour usually gets a same-day repair, while reporting it on night 3 often means living with it for most of your trip. Do learn the ship's layout using the deck plans in the app or the printed guide handed to you at boarding, because cruise ships are confusing mazes of identical hallways, and knowing your deck number along with forward versus aft in advance saves you from wandering in circles on your very first afternoon. A simple trick many crew members use themselves is remembering that even-numbered cabins are usually on one side of the hallway and odd numbers on the other, which cuts your searching time in half. Spend a few extra minutes locating the nearest stairwell, elevator bank, and medical center to your cabin as well, since knowing these 3 spots on your first afternoon means you are never truly lost for the rest of the week, even in the busiest hours of a sea day. Section 4. Getting your cabin ready. Do meet your cabin steward as soon as you can and introduce yourself by name, then request anything you already know you will need for the week: extra pillows, a small fan, more ice, or a specific type of coffee, because stewards remember guests who greet them early and treat those requests as priority for the rest of the sailing. A small greeting and a clear request on day 1 often means faster towel service, quieter cleaning times, and small, extra touches for the rest of the week. This is not about tipping extra money right away. It is simply about being a friendly, clear, and specific guest from the very first conversation, which most stewards say makes a bigger difference than anything else. Do find a quiet observation deck for your sail-away photos, instead of fighting the crowd at the main pool deck, since the higher decks toward the front or back of the ship offer nearly the same view with a fraction of the people and noise. Bring a light jacket to these upper decks, since the wind picks up noticeably once the ship starts moving. Do store your passport and other valuables in the cabin safe the moment you arrive, rather than leaving them inside a suitcase or a drawer, because your safe is set with a code only you know, and it is the one place on board truly designed to protect documents you cannot easily replace while at sea. Choose a code you will actually remember and write it down somewhere separate from the cabin itself, just in case. Do keep a small amount of cash on hand for tips and small purchases, since not every vendor, tender boat, or portside stand accepts your onboard card, and a few small bills in your pocket avoids an awkward moment on shore. Do unpack on the first night instead of living out of your suitcase all week, because a few minutes spent hanging clothes and organizing drawers on night one makes every remaining day of the cruise feel calmer and far less like camping in a hotel room. A retired nurse from Savannah said unpacking fully on night one was the single change that made her second cruise feel far more relaxing than her first. She kept her suitcase flat under the bed once it was empty, freeing up floor space in a cabin that otherwise felt cramped for the entire 7 days, and said it was the smallest change with the biggest daily payoff of her whole trip. If this is helping you picture your first day more clearly, drop a comment with the cruise line you are sailing on, since it genuinely helps us shape future guides. And if you have not already, go ahead and subscribe now so the rest of this list, along with next week's video, lands right in your feed. We read every comment, and some of the best tips on this channel actually came from viewers just like you sharing what worked and what did not on their own first day at sea. Section 5. Watching your account from day 1. Do check your onboard account daily starting on day 1 for any unexpected charges, since prices, gratuities, and accidental double taps at bars quietly add up, and catching a mistake within 24 hours is far easier than disputing an entire week of charges after the fact. A 71-year-old from Jacksonville found nearly $90 in charges she never made because she waited until the last night to look, and by then several of the charges were impossible to trace back to a specific vendor. Do check tomorrow's schedule and the ship's actual clock before you go to sleep each night, because time zones can shift during a cruise, and missing an activity, or worse, missing the ship's real departure time because your watch was an hour off, is a mistake seniors make more often than any other. The ship's clock is the only clock that matters on board, so get in the habit of checking it every evening rather than trusting your phone. Do take photos of your luggage before you hand it to the porters at the terminal, capturing the tag number and any distinguishing marks, since this one habit makes locating a delayed or misrouted bag dramatically faster if anything goes wrong along the way. Do order complimentary room service breakfast if your cruise line offers it, rather than fighting the first morning buffet crowd, since a quiet breakfast on your own balcony or in your cabin is one of the most underused perks on board and typically costs nothing extra. Order the night before if your ship allows it, so your tray is waiting the moment you wake up instead of adding a wait to your morning. A 66-year-old from Little Rock said her first cruise felt rushed every single morning until she started ordering coffee and toast the night before, turning what used to be a stressful scramble into the calmest part of her entire day. Do verify your emergency contact information inside the cruise app on day 1, making sure the name, number, and relationship listed are current, because this is the exact information crew members rely on if something happens to you while you are at sea. This single step takes less than a minute, yet a surprising number of seniors board with outdated information still listed from a previous cruise years earlier, sometimes even a number that no longer belongs to anyone in the family. Update it while you are still calm and settled in your cabin, rather than trying to remember it in the middle of an emergency when the last thing you want to be doing is scrolling through old contacts under pressure. Section 6. Planning ahead for a smooth cruise. Do decide on a drink package before your first day ends, since most cruise lines only let you purchase one at the full daily rate once the cruise has already started, and waiting until day 3 to decide usually means paying for days you already missed. Compare the package price against your realistic daily habits before buying, since a package only saves money if you would have ordered that many drinks anyway. Do bring a portable charger for your phone because outlets in older cabins are often limited to just 1 or 2, and a full day of taking photos, checking the app, and using your phone as your room key drains a battery faster than most people expect. Do go to bed early on your first night so you can actually enjoy your first full sea day, since exhausted travelers tend to sleep straight through the best morning activities, the quietest pool hours, and the freshest breakfast lines of the entire week. A tired first night has a way of turning into a tired first week, so treat that early bedtime as an investment in the rest of your trip. Do set up onboard messaging with your travel companions as soon as you board, since cell signal disappears the moment you leave port, and a simple group chat inside the cruise app is often the only way to find each other on a ship the size of a small town. Agree on a simple meeting spot and time as a backup as well, in case anyone's phone battery runs low before the messaging system saves the day. A group of 4 friends from Phoenix picked the coffee station on the pool deck as their default meeting point every single afternoon, and said it saved them more confusion over the course of the week than any app or text message ever could. Section 7. Ending the night right. Don't wait in the guest services line on your first day unless it is absolutely necessary, because most questions about dining, the app, or your account can be solved faster through the app itself or a quick call from your cabin phone, while the front desk line on embarkation day can stretch well past an hour. Save that line for problems that genuinely need a person standing in front of you, and handle everything else from the comfort of your cabin. Do double-check your excursion meeting times before going to sleep on your first night, confirming the meeting location, the deck, and the exact time on the ship's clock, because missing an excursion meeting point is one of the most common and most expensive mistakes of an entire cruise. A quick look at the app before bed takes 30 seconds, and it is the difference between a relaxed morning and a frantic one spent running through unfamiliar hallways. A 68-year-old from Portland almost missed her shore excursion on a later day of the cruise because she assumed the meeting time was the same as the printed daily planner, when it had actually been moved up by 20 minutes, a change she would have caught with one quick look the night before. 30 small decisions made correctly on one single day are the difference between a first day that feels smooth and confident and one that feels rushed and expensive. Most of these do's and don'ts take less than a minute to act on, yet almost nobody explains them together in one place before you sail. Think back through the list for a moment: the boarding time, the app, the carry-on bag, the muster drill, the dining reservations, the cabin safe, the daily account check, the early bedtime, and the excursion times before bed, and notice how none of them require money or luck, only a little planning. Now that you know exactly what to do and exactly what to avoid, from the moment you leave home to the moment your head hits the pillow on night 1, your entire cruise starts on the right foot, instead of playing catch-up for the rest of the week. If this list helped you feel more prepared, give it a like so it reaches other first-time cruisers before their own sailing date, and subscribe to Senior Cruise Secrets for a new insider guide every week, covering everything from hidden charges to packing mistakes that most travelers never see coming. Your next cruise deserves a first day this smooth, so take these 30 tips with you, share them with anyone you know who is sailing for the first time, and enjoy every moment of the trip you worked hard to earn. From the whole team here, we hope your gangway walk is calm, your cabin is ready early, and your first sail away is exactly as peaceful as it should be.